So I'm going to talk about brewing coffee as a flow-through porous media problem, specifically looking at how the coarseness of the grind of your coffee beans, how that impacts the strength of the brewed coffee. So if we look at this setup with hot water flowing through coffee packed into a coffee filter, looking at that as a porous media, it's going to have some void fraction, which will be equivalent to the fraction of that coffee filter occupied by a fluid whenever it's flowing through at steady state. And that's going to change based on how coarse the grind is. So if you grind coffee beans coarser, then it will be looser packed and the fluid will occupy more, so we'll have a higher void fraction versus if there's a finer grind. And assuming this is laminar, we can relate that to the strength of your coffee by looking at the velocity, which will have bearing on the residence time of the water in contact with the coffee. So assuming that this is laminar, coming from the laminar portion of the air gun equation, you can rearrange that to find a relationship for the superficial velocity. And then you can see a relationship of that superficial velocity to the void fraction. So as the void fraction increases, as the grind is coarser and there's more occupied by water, that velocity is going to increase, which will decrease the residence time and result in a weaker coffee. So as you grind finer, you'll get a stronger coffee because that superficial velocity will decrease and the residence time of the water in the filter will increase, which is why people who are really into coffee like to grind their own beans in order to get the optimal fineness for their strength of coffee. And we can see that through the use of our fluid mechanics concepts.